was nominated. We do have people like Lillian Paparo Biale that you did clearly mention, who are woman member of parliament. No one else was nominated. Ruth Rujoki Mushabe from Kirohura, woman member of parliament. No one was nominated, among others. Now that's pursuant to section 31B of the Parliamentary Elections Act. But remember, there were contestations in some of the other constituencies where we ended up having unopposed candidates. And Canary, if you could remember, the likes of Honorable Lieutenant Colonel Wright, retired, Bright Ramirama in the Sinjiro North constituency, Beth Arnold Ankunda of the People's Front for Freedom had actually contested in this election. James Atwine Nkizimagara was, of course, outed out of that race because of papers, and Anthony Rutakwere of the Alliance for National Transformation had participated. But remember, pursuant to Section 28(1)(c) of the Parliamentary Elections Act, Cap 177, because they could not be able to have the adequate signatures. Unfortunately, all these got out. Bright Ramirama had to be declared unopposed. But of course, we're still giving you more updates of what's coming through across the country. And Tracy Kansime as well will be taking us through some of the areas where we do have our correspondence on ground.
Of course, very interesting of the unopposed. Remembering that of the 353 constituencies that are up for elections, some of these have already been unopposed. But what also you need to note is that 2,025 of those were nominated candidates in this particular race. What also is important is that of those constituencies, we also now want to head to Tambala, where Jamila Mlindwa joins me now because it is also happening across the board. Jamila is in the areas of Butambala, and we want to find out just what this part of the country will be undertaking and who some of the contestants are in this particular race. Jamila, a very good morning. It is indeed election day across the country. We want to also take note of the elected positions in Butambala, who those particular contestants are. But also let's speak about how many polling stations are we talking about, and do you, for example, where you are right now, see a sizable number of voters turning up?
Thank you so much, Tracy. Like you have said, right here behind me is the office of the Electoral Commission in Butambala. And what I can tell you is by 4 a.m. they had started dispatching of all electoral materials to the 7 sub-counties of the district. Of course, they started with the farthest, that is Nando sub-county and Bolo sub-county. And what we get is that within those areas, elections have already started since they got the polling materials earlier. Now, the district has around 7 sub-counties. Of course, Nando, Bulo, Bude, Kalamba Town Council. We have Chibibi and Gomba Town Council. And the total of registered voters is 67,389. That is across the board. But of course, it is quite interesting, the contestation in this part of Butambala, because when it comes to the direct seat, that is the direct member of parliament seat, it has around 5 contestants, and also the woman member of parliament seat, it has 3 contestants. Now, the incumbent Muhammad Mwanga Chibumbi of the NUP has been the member of parliament for 15 years of this area, since Butambala was carved out of PG district, and the race basically is between him and independent Elias Mochibi. But of course, other contestants, including Ali Chisitu, Mohammed Chele, who is also independent, plus Godfrey Babekuno Mafumu Cheswa of the NRM, they're also in the race. Now, as time goes on, we're going to be visiting the different polling stations within the 7 sub-counties, and of course, there are more than 25 parishes within the district to get first-hand information. But speaking to the returning officer of the district earlier, Miss Maureen Katsime, she said that everything has gone on well when it comes dispatching the materials, and most of the polling stations have started on time to vote. Later on in the day, we'll be giving you more updates across the board from Butambala district. Back to you at the Political Command Center.
Well, Jamila Mulindo are there joining us from Butambala. It is a very interesting race. You're particularly looking at also incumbents, to say incumbent, in the 11th Parliament, the chairman of the Parliamentary Accounts Committee there contesting. Will the National Unity Platform retain that seat? It's only a matter of time because that conversation is also happening, and that particular elective position is also one of the ballot papers that will be cast this very day. A very interesting morning. Butambala is a battleground as well. But what we also want to take note of is a lira yet again, because it is quite a sizable race. But Mildred, let's talk about the fact that when you look at this particular election, the Democratic Party and the UPC, the Uganda People's Congress, are not on that presidential ballot. However, they will be faring quite significantly across the board. When you look at the parliamentary race, a very interesting one, the Uganda People's Congress is not a part of the ballot of the president this time round. And of course, we know how we got there. It was quite contentious and battles within the UPC that were unresolved until D-Day and the Electoral Commission deciding not to entirely get that as a part of the conversation this time around. The Democratic Party president deciding to come back, but this time as a member of parliament, a Pecheraro aspirant. It will be interesting to see how that entirely will be looking like. But also interesting is Lira. Two ministers tussling it out. I will not do justice to that conversation, as well as Isaac Otui. Isaac, a very good morning. Thank you so much for getting to join us. Let's speak about D-Day and what D-Day looks like in the areas of Lira and what you read of this situation. Isaac.
Well, a good morning, Tracy. For what I've seen from the few polling stations that I've been able to go to by 7:30, all look set with a number of voters already are making their way to the polling stations, and also polling agents presenting the different candidates who are contesting within the cities. From 7:50, that was 10 minutes to 8, that we saw, of course, some of the boxes being opened because the 10 voters that is required were already at the polling stations. Now, just to give you a look at how Lira City is. Lira City has more than 111,000 registered voters, and this is spread across the three electoral areas, so for the position for the woman member of parliament, and then the positions for the Lira City East division, the Lira City West division. Now, the position for the woman member of parliament initially attracted three candidates top of the incumbent woman member of parliament, Dr. Jane Cheng from the National Resistance Movement, from gender-based Betty Amongi from the Uganda People's Congress coming to contest in the city here. And then there was a journalist, turned politician, Patricia Amle Acheng of one who registered or was nominated as an independent candidate but opted out of the race, leaving only two people, the two ministers,